Hey guys, hope you and the families are doing well. As traders, we want to try and position ourselves in the leading stocks, ideally from the leading groups and or leading themes, because the market tends to be very thematic in nature. So what I'm going to do is teach you how to identify the leading stocks from the leading groups or themes in this short YouTube video by taking you through my trade in IONQ from the 16th of December, which is a leading quantum computing stock, and quantum computing has been a very strong theme in the market. Before we get into it, let you know that Market Surge are today's video sponsor. They're my go-to resource for analyzing company fundamentals. If you're interested in a discounted trial, then you'll find a link to that in the description and the comment section below. So we're going to split this video into three main parts. The first part, I'm going to review the IONQ trade from an identification standpoint, but also from an order entry method standpoint too. I used a 5-minute opening range breakout, so a 5-minute ORB. The second part of this video will be the longest part. That's because we're going to analyze other quantum computing stocks, and I'm going to teach you about some of the subtleties and some of the constructive signs that I like to see in the wider group. So if I'm looking at a specific stock, I want to be very aware of, okay, what are the brother sister stocks doing? What are the other stocks from the group doing? We're also going to take a look at QTUM, which is the applicable theme ETF. So this is where we're going to broaden out. We're going to look at theme ETFs, applicable theme ETFs, and we're also going to look at other stocks in the group and then how you select which one is potentially best for a setup as per your criteria. The third part, I'm going to try and help you improve the efficiency of your day-to-day or week-to-week screening for how you can start to better identify leading groups and leading themes as they develop, as we're seeing here with quantum computing, which have been on my radar now for a little while, given the constructive action and powerful moves that we have been seeing. So let me just briefly take you through the IONQ trade, okay? So the entry is on the 16th of December 2024. You can go read about it on my platform if you want to do that. So there's this really strong reversal bar. Now I like using what I call an IMRELO, an intraday mean version long, an opening range breakout, as we can see here with 5-minute ORB, or a buy stop limit order. Now the issue with IONQ, a buy stop limit order targeting it through the high of the day, stop loss underneath the low of the day like this, would have been an initial stop loss of about 13-14%. That's too wide. The risk versus reward is getting all out of whack. We all know that losses work geometrically against it. Okay, that there is not going to work. So what I then think about is, okay, if it starts taking out the high of Friday the 13th of December, what are my other options for entering a position? Well, an opening range breakout could be pretty effective. This is a stock that likes ORBs as well. So okay, I'm assessing the character. Now I elected to go with a 5-minute ORB, so I'm targeting it through the high when I see the breakout, stop loss low of the day to control the risk relative to what is a very high 20-day average daily range percentage of 15.21%. So that's kind of the setup there in terms of what I was looking at. Really strong, as you're going to see when we start looking at the wider group now in part 2. So as I am looking at IONQ, okay, I've got all the other key quantum computing stocks on my radar. Okay, these things have been on an absolute tear, and when you start screening how I'm going to teach you to screen in part 3, you'll be able to better identify these leading groups and leading themes, and then leading stocks within those leading groups and leading themes, thus helping you to position yourself better in leading stocks, ideally from leading groups and leading themes. That's where I'm trying to position myself. Okay, that is where the real action is. As Jesse Livermore said over 100 years ago, focus on the leading stocks of the day. So if we take a look here at QUBT, okay, what I'm highlighting as I'm pointing out here is the action on Friday the 13th of December. So you'll see that with QTUM, you'll see it with QUBT, you'll see it with QBTS, RGTI, and QMCO, okay, because there's some pretty constructive bars going on. So if we look at QUBT, it's building this flag type pattern, right? It's got this kind of flag type look to it, and here there's a nice shakeout of the 10-day, which is the black line on my chart. Blue line is the 21-day EMA. So see how it's tightening in there between the 10-day and 21-day EMA, a little kind of shakeout bar. Look how the volume is drying up as well. Note the surges in volume as this stock here was rallying. This is really strong, and I'm liking the basing action here. If we look at QBTS on the same session last Friday, the 13th of December, okay, note the really strong reversal off the 10-day EMA. That's interesting. QBT tightening there around the 10-day, 21-day. QBTS last Friday just bouncing off of the 10-day EMA. We look at RGTI putting in this inside bar. Note the strength of the close as well. Okay, inside bar just above the 10-day. The stock has been on an absolute rip. And QMCO, note this, really strong move up here. Look at the volume that's coming through. Volume then drying up as this base develops, and it's a bit of kind of another flag type pattern. Okay, you can see the flag type nature of that base, and then here it's this really tight little bar. It's kind of like a trigger bar, I refer to these if you've watched the channel for a little while. Look, trigger bar above the 10-day EMA. Interesting. If we take a look at the applicable group ETF here, which is QTUM, what do you see? Well, it kind of pulls in towards the 10-day EMA, a really strong reversal. Then note it's closing last Friday right on the high of the day. See that? HOD, high of day. This is going out on session highs. It couldn't have gone out any stronger. Same with IO and Q. Note the strength of the close. QBTS. Note the strength of the close. RGTI. Note the strength of the close. Then the constructive action that you're also seeing in other stocks like QMCO. Tight little bar. 10-day EMA. QBT. Tightening up around the 10-day, 21-day. IO and Q. There's really nice, strong reversal. Momentum leader type stocks as well. Look at the ADRs on it. 15%, 27%, 26%, 25%, 44% for QMCO. These are extremely, extremely quick stocks, and look how strong the group is. So this goes back to another Jesse Livermore point. The line of least resistance is the line of least resistance for these stocks with the information that you are trying to assimilate and then decide with. Does it look like these stocks want to go higher, i.e. they're being accumulated and they want to continue going higher, or does it look like the line of least resistance is to the downside and they're being distributed? For me and my mental representations, you want to learn about mental representations, then read the book Peak by Anders Ericsson. Peak by Anders Ericsson, really, really fantastic book for learning about deliberate practice, improving your skill set, improving your mental representations. So with me, I've looked at millions and millions and millions of charts. So when I'm looking at these, I'm seeing really constructive signs, and I'm not just seeing it in IONQ, the stock I decided to target, because for me, it's the most liquid one of the group by an absolute mile, has a really good ADR percentage on it as well. There's some other momentum leader stocks around as well, okay? But IONQ, this one here was the one I elected to be targeting for the session. But for me, with my mental representation, I'm looking at this and I'm going, there's not just constructive action in IONQ, and it's setting up as per my criteria. There's constructive action in the group, the other brother sister stocks of the group as well. I'm really, really liking like this is getting me real dialed in for, okay, where do I really want to be focused on Monday the 16th of December? Like that session, what is the group, what is the theme? Potentially there's a couple of them as well. What is the group, what is the theme where I'm seeing this constructive action and I want to be looking for exposure, I want to be targeting setups? This feeds into it. So then in terms of your scanning, we're now going into part 3. In terms of your scanning, the way that I found most efficient to identify the strength and identify the leadership is run a basic uptrend template, okay? Just search for stocks. Literally, it sounds so simple, but it's ridiculously effective. Like that's how I do like sometimes people can overcomplicate things and you want to try and be all clever and do that. You don't need to. Like just keep it really, really simple. Like what you are trying to do, what is your end goal? What is your objective? What are you trying to do? Well, if you're like me and you're trying to find the leading stocks from ideally the leading groups and leading themes, I would suggest doing this. This works really, really well for me, but it may not work well for you. So what I do is I run a basic uptrend template, okay? So I'm looking for stocks above their 200-day simple period moving average, above their 50-day simple period moving average. Now, why am I setting those two criteria? There's a couple more, we'll get to them, but why am I setting those criteria? What do you notice about all these stocks in the group ETF? Like, what do you notice? They're above the 50, which is the purple line on my chart. They're above the 200, which is the red line on my chart. They're above those. I'm not interested in stocks that are lagging behind the 200. I ain't interested in that. I want powerful stocks. I think they're above the 50 as well. Like, all these stocks are above them. So if there's superstar stocks like these ones that are above their 200 and above their 50, I ain't interested in looking things below their 200 and below their 50. I want to stay very focused and very dialed in on where is the leadership? Where are the leading stocks? Where are the leading groups? Where are the leading things? That's what I want to dial in on. So basic uptrend template, above the 200, above the 50-day. And then I go and add some basic liquidity criteria to that. So I want 50-day average volume above 5 million or 10 million, depending how many results I want to get. If I'm getting like a few thousand results, I may tighten it up a little bit and look for, okay, I want it above 25 million. I want it above 50 million. I also set a 20-day average daily range percentage minimum of 2%. Okay, if I start getting lots and lots of results, I'll increase that. I'll go, okay, maybe 2.25%, 2.5%. If I want to decrease or increase the amount of results, I may bring that down, 1.75%, 1.5%. So I can ebb and flow of how many stocks I want to look at on a daily basis, which often ebbs and flows between 1,000 and a couple of thousand stocks. May also depend on how much time I have as well. So that is literally it. There's pretty much 4 metrics. I also look for price above $1, just to filter out a lot of the kind of like penny stock and just junk things, basically. There's pretty much 5 things that go into this, okay? It's above the 200, above the 50, set a 30-day average volume or a 50-day average dollar volume, set a 20-day ADR percentage minimum, so at least you're getting some quicker stocks relative to the major indexes, and set a minimum price. I usually use $1. Okay, if I want it a little bit more, I'll set it a little bit higher, but literally that. Now, here's the secret sauce of it, okay? When you get those results, and there may be 500, 750, 1,000, a couple thousand, depends how onerous, it'd be really onerous and just get like 100, 250 results if you want. Here is the secret sauce. Group them via industry group. You can do this on my platform. You can do it on TradingView. You can do it on TC1000. You can do it in Market Search, okay? Group your results when you're running this bigger screen. Group your results via industry group. it's so key and makes your life so much simpler. Because then when I'm running through and I'm looking at IO and Q, okay, when I'm then going through, I'm going, there's IO and Q, there's QUBT, there's QBTS, there's RGTI, there's QMCO, there's ARQQ, there's other ones as well, okay? I'm looking at it and going, wow, hang on a minute, ping, 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 ping. This is really strong. This is really strong. This is, why is the group so strong? Now, maybe I then want to do a little bit of work for, okay, why is quantum computing so strong? Why is this theme so strong? Why is that theme so strong? But it just makes it so much easier. And then what I do is I categorize it in my watch list into sections with strong groups and themes. So quantum computing in my daily watch list is right there. I've got these stocks right there. So then I'm watching them throughout the session. Okay, they start developing opportunities. Okay, whether that be kind of swing trade setups, trigger bars, shakeout demand tails, gap down reverse bars, potentially ORB setups, or what I call in Morello's intraday mean version long setups, then I'm going to be looking to target them. It just makes it so much easier because in the market at any one moment in time, there can usually be somewhere between 3 and 6, 3 and 7 real kind of leading groups, leading themes, and you want to know what are those leading groups, what are those leading themes, then dial in on what are the leaders within those leading themes. So this video is now just turning into a rant, but hopefully it is useful for you to learn to identify the thematic nature of the market, dial in on those leading groups, leading themes in the market, pinpoint the leading stocks in the market, have an efficient way of screening for them. So run a basic uptrend template, filter the results via industry group, and then categorize the leading groups and leading themes in your daily watch list with the leading stocks. You can really pinpoint and dial in on them. So thank you very much for watching the video. Thank you very much for supporting the YouTube channel. As always, I look forward to seeing you in a future video.